Chris Duffin here with the Kabuki Strength Team. Going to go through a couple cues on the hip hinge. We don't have a whole lot of video series on the hip hinge just because it is actually a fairly simple technique to teach. And if you take care of the basics, a lot of this is going to happen already. But I do want to cover it. So one of the things that we want to do, the easiest way to teach this is have people imagine there's a dresser drawer behind them, and one of the dressers right below their, behind their butt is open, and they need to push it closed, okay? So immediately, now they know that they've got to push back, right there, break slightly at the knees, boom, and push that drawer closed. So that's immediately going to get them away from, oh yeah, no, yeah, which isn't going to close that dresser drawer. Another thing we can do is we can have people just bring some awareness to the hip itself, put their hands right here, and as they do that, go, okay, push your hips back or push it into the dresser drawer. Boom. We want to make sure as we do that we're being aware that we're not overcueing the sit back. This is one of the reasons I don't like the sit back cue as it's traditionally taught, because immediately that'll have people move. You'll notice my pelvis is breaking anteriorly and I'm immediately opening this chain here. So as we're doing this, make sure that they're not pushing that pelvis into position, that this torso is always staying stacked over the top of the hips during the hip hinge. Another great way to cue that, a lot of people do this with a PVC pole behind a person's back where they hold it, but we found actually adding load brings a lot more awareness. So I'm going to use a shoulder rock. If you don't have one, you think about using a barbell or a smaller barbell with weights just on one side to mimic what I'm doing here. But you'll find this incredibly effective because it gives the client or the user immediate feedback when they break position. So I'm going to put this behind my head and I'm going to touch it between my shoulder blades, on my head, and basically on my butt. There'll be a little bit of space where the lumbar spine sits. And we'll want to maintain that. Boom. And then from here, I'm going to hinge. Boom. Now if I was going to break in the spine here, let's see if I can actually teach bad technique here. Sometimes that can be challenging. But if I was going to bend the back, immediately I lose contact. And I'm actually feel it even more so because now I'm actually having to lift the weight, which you're not going to get if you've got the PVC pipe or the stick method, where you're not going to feel that resistance going, oh, look at that. Immediately I'm picking that weight up. Just even the slightest deviation will give you that feedback. So here, boom. Gives you beautiful feedback that you can send the client home with, and the awareness when you're not there to know whether they're hinging correctly or not. So an incredibly effective teaching tool. So that wraps up our hip hinge. With those cues, you should be able to get everybody dialed in hinging beautifully.